أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
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 أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
أشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
أشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
حي على الصلاة.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم.
حي على الصلاة.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم.
حي على الفلاح.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم.
حي على الفلاح.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم.
الله أكبر الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
لا إله إلا الله.
لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستغفره ونستعينه ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له هدانا للإسلام وحبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك ولا يتبعها إلا سالك. صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد، يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Brothers and sisters in Islam and in humanity, on this day of Friday, we testify that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our Lord, our Creator, our Sustainer, and Muhammad ibn Abdullah is the seal of a series of prophets that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent to mankind to guide. I remind myself and you brothers and sisters in Islam and in humanity with the word of wisdom from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He addresses the believers, or you who believe, how to remind in reverence and be conscious of Allah. And they not accept in a state of submission to Him. And I remind myself and you brothers and sisters with His word when He addressed the whole human race, not just the Muslims, not just the believers, when He said, Ya ayyuhan nas, all mankind, revere your Lord who created you all from a single soul, and from that soul created its mate, and from the two of them created multitude of men and women, and revere Him from whom you demand your mutual rights, and never cut off family ties. Revere the womb that bore you, and never ever cut off family ties. Verily, God is observing all over us. And I remind myself and you brothers and sisters in Islam and in humanity with His word of wisdom when He addressed the believers who believe, have a reminder and reverence of God. Be conscious of God in all your dealings. And when you speak, speak to the point, speak right on target. If you do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless your deeds and make them wholesome and forgives your sins. And whoever obeys God and follow of the footsteps of His messenger will attain success in this life and the hereafter. أما بعد يقول الحق سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الحكيم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولا تهنوا ولا تحزنوا وأنتم الأعلون إن كنتم مؤمنين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the believers in time of despair, in time of uncertainty, in time of anxiety. And his comforting words are, be not infirm, and do not be grieveful, and you will overcome if you are believers. You will overcome on one condition, if you are true believers. Brothers and sisters, a lot of us may have a feeling of anxiety as we usher a political era full of uncertainties. These times are difficult for Muslims and other minorities. We have seen an increase in anti-Muslim bigotry, hate crime, resulting from an increase in anti-Muslims and minority statements by politicians and media talking heads. Those are difficult times, and we have seen over the weekends, there were bans on refugees, bans on immigrations, bans on Muslims from some countries, and a lot of people took out to the street to protest that. And that's a very good thing. We have seen the humanity in people come out and say this is not who we are. But we have to remember something. We need to see things as clearly as possible. We need to see things for what they are, clearly as possible. Although a lot of people are protesting this ban and standing up in solidarity with those who are less fortunate, we need to remember one thing. This is like being upset when the President of the United States does not pardon that one turkey on Thanksgiving, while millions of turkeys are slaughtered and consumed. Nothing against eating turkey on Thanksgiving, but pardoning one turkey while millions are raised in inhumane conditions and slaughtered for our consumption is kind of hypocrite. And let me see something here about what halal is for us Muslims. What's lawful for us is just not to slaughter the animal humanely in an Islamic way. But the animal has to be raised in a humane way, not in feedlots where they are eating each other carcasses. That's not the Islamic way. So, the analogy here is we have hundreds of millions of people suffering all over the world. And the dehumanization is what allowed the oppression and the neglect of those people, hundreds of millions of people all across the world. And it's that same dehumanization that allows the discrimination here at home against hundreds of millions of people. Like the late Malcolm X says, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him, Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, what he said, that the problems that minority have in this country are not confined here. They are part of an international and global situation that our Mother Earth is suffering, with inequalities, with oppression, with dehumanization of the other. And we have to be part of that movement, part of that solution. So we have to remember always that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of everything. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, do not be infirm, don't be paralyzed, don't be grateful. You will overcome if you are believers. Brothers and sisters, and what does it mean to be a believer? What does it mean to be a Muslim? What does it mean to be a faith person? A person of faith, a man of faith, a woman of faith, a man of God, a woman of God. What does it mean to do that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the answer in the Holy Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَتَّخِذُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا يُحِبُّهُمْ كَمَا كحب الله وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. So what does it take to be a believer? What does it take to be a Muslim? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us what categories are mankind. Some people of mankind, they take object of worship like gods. Some people worship power. Some people worship wealth. Some people worship all kind of stuff. And they love them, and they should be loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or God. But the believers are the ones who love God more than anything else. If you are a believer, you have to love God more than anything else. And when you love God, you will love your fellow human being. And you will see their humanity just like the one you have in them. And you see God's honoring them and ennobling them just like He did you. No matter what their color is, no matter what their culture is, no matter what their opinions or anything like that. They are God's creation. They are the human being, the children of Adam. Adam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked the angel to bow to. Except for Iblis, Satan, who refused to do that. Why did he refuse to do that? He said, I'm better than him. I'm better than him. How could I prostrate to somebody that I'm better than him? You created me from fire and created him from dust. Therefore, I'm better than him. And did Iblis or Satan repent? No. He asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for remittance. Give me time. What does he want to do with his time? He wanted to trap human beings with the same demise he did. So he's going all over whispering to people, that guy, you're much better than him. You own more than him, or you have better education than him, or your skin is better than his. But that's not, you don't listen to Satan when you love and believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also clarified for us what it means to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا من يرتد منكم عن دينه فسوف يأتي الله بقوم يحبهم ويحبونه أذلة على المؤمنين أعزة على الكافرين يجاهدون في الله حق جهاده لا يخافون لومة لائم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله واسع عليم. The closest meaning of this verse is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressing the believers, if you turn your back on the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you turn your back on justice, if you turn your back on your fellow human being, if you turn your back on loving Allah and loving His creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God will bring other people to the deen. And what their characteristics? يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَهُ. They will love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will love them back. That's the relationship of the believer with God. It's a relationship of love. And when you love somebody, you have to obey their commands. Love comes from in Arabic is hub, which comes from the word habba, which means a seed that you plant in your heart, a seed that you care for, that you nurture. So what do you do with a seed in the ground? You provide it with nutrient to help it grow, and you protect it from the toxins that will kill it. That's the same thing with the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You put that love in your heart, and you nurture that love with the command that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. For what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did for us. I mean, if you look at the Holy Quran, what does it tell us? It tells us to be good people, full of love, full of mercy, full of care for one another. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't oppress. So loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is obeying His command and doing what He wants us to do. And abstaining from this command that He wants us not to do. Because disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make your heart rust. And sure, we're humans. We're not going to be on attention 100% of the time. But remember to polish that heart of yours once in a while. Just like you polish the metal to bring it back to its shining state. But if you neglect it, if you don't do that, then it will rust and it starts breaking off. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes this type of hearts. كَلَّا بَلْ رَانَ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ. Nay, their heart had rusted so much that there is no going back. I mean, when a metal starts flaking, there is no amount of polishing that's going to restore it to its initial pristine condition. So don't let your heart get to that state. Empty your heart from anything that will make it rust and fill it with the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the love of His creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran told us, قُلْ, addressing the Prophet, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ. If you claim that you love God, follow my example, the example of the Prophet ﷺ and the previous prophets, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Lot, all the prophets. And by the way, if you look at the story or the history of those prophets, you will find out that all of them were refugees at one point or another in their life. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent to us humans like us who struggle in their life like we do. They married, had wives, they had kids, they sold and bought, they worked for their living to show us exactly how we can love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's our weapon, is the love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised and He has proved many times. Just remember the Hebrews oppressed by Pharaoh and how Moses delivered them from that. Just remember the Prophet ﷺ, how persecuted he and his weak followers. But because they believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah made them overcome. And so do we. Only if we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ has told us further to clarify. He said in no ambiguous words, لن تدخلوا الجنة حتى تؤمنوا ولن تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا ألا أدلكم على شيء فعلتموه تحاببتم أفشوا السلام بينكم. The Prophet ﷺ says, you will not enter paradise until you believe, And you will not believe until you love one another. Should I show you something? If you do it, you will love one another? Spread peace among yourself. Starting with your own self. Be at peace with yourself. Be at peace with your family. Be at peace with your neighbors. Be at peace with your environment. Be at peace. Do not an iota of hatred get into your heart no matter what. Because that's what Satan is looking for. He wants to snowball hatred. And just like you cannot displace darkness with darkness, you can only displace darkness with light. You can only displace hate with love. The Prophet ﷺ said, أطعموا أفشوا السلام وأطعموا الطعام وصلوا الأرحام وصلوا والناس نيام تدخلوا الجنة بسلام. The close meaning is spread peace, feed one another, feed the homeless, take care of the less fortunate, maintain family ties, Silat al-Rahim. And Prophet ﷺ has specified that Silat al-Rahim, connecting with kinship, is not a reciprocation that you do with your close friends or even a relative. If they visit you, you visit them. If they call you, you call them. If they gifted you, you give them a gift. But he's talking about the one who goes the other way. The one who harbors some rancor in his heart for you. That's the one you need to visit or invite. The one that does not call you, that's the one that you should call. It's not like, well, he doesn't call me, I don't call him. No, that's not what it is. That's not how we describe it, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Brothers and sisters, remember this. It's all about love. It's not about ideology. They are trying to make Islam as ideology. Islam is not ideology. It's about love. That's what's most important. I'll tell you a little story here of a community that were bickering among each other during the month of Ramadan about how many rak'ahs to pray in the evening. Some were advocating 20, and others were advocating 8. And a group of them went to a mufti, to a scholar, and said, please help us. What's the problem? People are bickering and fighting in the mosque. About what? 20 rak'ahs, 8 rak'ahs. He said, what do you want me to do? He said, give us a solution. He said, close the masjid, close the mosque. They were all surprised. Close the mosque. Well, let me explain it to you. In the old country, they have public baths, where you go and take a nice bath and be cleaned. So if you go to a bath, and the water is contaminated, and the clean area of the bath is contaminated. For sure, if you take a bath, you're going to go out more dirty than you come in. So what's the purpose? That's the same thing here, brothers and sisters. I've been told by a new convert who said that she has seen Muslims who are willing to hate each other because the other drink different type of tea. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to challenge you with a test. A test in humanity and Islam. That test is to ask yourself, who was your circle of friends? Who are the people that you feel comfortable with at the mosque? Are they the people who have the same culture as you do, who eat the same food, who like the same food as you do? Are they the people who have the same ideas as you do? Or are you going to love the brother next to you no matter what his color, no matter what his dress, no matter what the food he liked, and no matter what kind of ideas he has? Brothers and sisters, love, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أشد حبا لله. You have to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than anything else. And the Prophet ﷺ says, you will not attain belief until you love one another. So my challenge to you is invite somebody from the mosque that you've never seen before or never had contact before to your home. Get somebody, next time you come, bring a gift to somebody that is out of your circle of friends and extend that to your neighbors. No matter who they are, Muslim or not. That's what Islam is all about. That's what humanity is all about. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of everything. He is capable of everything. But He's testing us on this life here to see how we do what He has given us. And each one of us is special in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Each of us is endowed with so many gifts and faculties that can make life better for everybody on the planet. Remember that, brothers and sisters. It's all about love. Remember that the dehumanization that allows the oppression and the killing of people tens of thousands away is the same dehumanization that's allowing for the discrimination against millions of people. It's all connected. And we have so many challenges, brothers and sisters. The late Malcolm X, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him, used to say that in South Africa at the time, they preach segregation and practice segregation. And then at his time, here in the US, integration is preached, but segregation is what was happening. And now, we're getting to a new level, a level of alternative facts, which has been happening all along. But now somebody had coined the term for it, alternative facts. And we have seen what alternative facts are. It is for the oppressor to claim that he's defending himself from his victims. It is to punish the slaves because they have revolted. I mean, it's the revolution, I mean, it's the slave revolt that's the crime here, not the fact that human beings are being enslaved. So get ready for this new era where things are sophisticatedly manipulated, alternative facts. The oppressor is protecting himself against the victims. Well, if you don't victimize your victim in the first place, you don't need to protect yourself from him or her. But again, it's only with love that we can displace hate, just like lights displace darkness. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة على من لا نبي بعده. Brothers and sisters in Islam and in humanity, our Islamic faith